Are you tired of living in a dirt hut or a hole in the ground like a peasant? These 3 easy Minecraft starter bases use simple materials and are quick to build. Let me show you how you can make them. To start off, I'm going to show you how you can create this cozy little tent. But before we can start, here's what you'll need to build the outside. Some wool. I'm using white, but you can choose any color. Fences and gates. Trapdoors. Slabs. Logs. And a campfire. These are very basic materials that you can gather in your first few days of survival. Let's begin. Start by laying down 2 rows of wool that are 4 blocks along each and build it up to a triangle shape. Then add a frame around the tent by adding a mixture of stairs and slabs. You can create any shape that you want, but this is the one that I went for. This will form the frame around your tent and you don't need to worry about making it perfect, just make sure that the shape is there. Then you can just add a fence down the middle of the tent to separate it. I also added a fence for a torch to go onto later so that I could keep away all those nasty mobs. Then let's move on to the back and repeat the exact same process that we did for the frame in the front. Moving over to the side of the tent, I decided to add a row of fence gates to really give it some detail. If you want more of a natural vibe, you can also add some vines or leaves to the outside, but I tried to keep it as simple as possible. Moving on to the inside, I dug out this little pit so that we could have a little bit more space in the build and so it wouldn't feel so compact and squished in there. Then fill in the floor with a block of your choice. I decided to keep it the same with spruce, but you can also keep it as grass if you're going for that natural cozy look. Now, let's make it functional. Here's what you'll need to decorate: a chest, a furnace, a crafting table, a carpet, and a bed. I would also add in some flowers if you want to keep it a little bit more cozy. Inside the tent, I added the bed first. I kept it the classic red color. Then I added the chest, the crafting table, and the furnace. Then I added a little red carpet to go with the bed. If you want, you can even add some torches or lanterns to give it some extra light. Keep it simple though. This is about having a quick, easy, cozy place to stay while you get started. And before you probably start the next phase of the new world, wandering for hours looking for an aesthetic place to build your house, just like I do. Part is optional, but I decided to create a little campsite outside of the tent with a little campfire and some logs, just because I thought decorating it would make it feel a little bit more like home. One thing I love about this tent build is that you can blend it into any environment. Whether you're in a plains, a forest, or near a mountain, you can make your tent fit into the surroundings. You can even add a little pond or farm to make it extra cute. If you're by the ocean, how cool would it be to have your tent near the beach? You can even place boats nearby for extra decorations, but I tried to keep it as simple as possible for this build. Now you've got yourself a basic, cozy starter base that's perfect for your first few nights in Minecraft. It's simple, it's quick, and it doesn't take much to make. Let's move on to the next starter base. Next up, we have this super simple fishing hut. This is perfect for a starter base because in your first couple days of your survival world, it's not that easy to get a full farm going, so a fishing hut is probably your easiest way to get food in those first couple of rough days. But before we start, let's go over what you'll need for this build. So you'll just need 2 types of planks of your choice, cobblestone walls, fences, and slabs. Let's get started. Find a spot near the water. I usually go for a river over an ocean to have easier access to trees and animals. Now grab your wood, fences, and slabs and make a small foundation. You can just put a cobblestone wall down and put a fence on top and then create this little slope roof. Then I'm adding a tiny fishing dock that you can walk out on. Moving on to the inside, I'm carving out a space in the hill so that we can fit all of our survival necessities inside. Then I cleaned up the outside of the builds by making it feel a little more cozy with some leaves and flowers. My personal fave is the rose bush. And then I added some lights. And I also cleaned up the entrance so that I could start working on the inside. Now let's make the inside functional. Here's what you'll need to decorate: a chest, a furnace, a crafting table, a carpet, a bed, an item frame, a painting, and a carpet. Now let's focus on the inside. You want it to be useful, so start by putting your crafting table, your furnace, your chest, and your bed down. You're gonna store all the fish you're gonna catch, and the interior wouldn't be complete without a little wolf to help us out with fishing. Then you can also expand the dock, add your boats. Of course, we need the fishing rod and our chest. I also added some lily pads and more flowers around the outside to make it a little bit more cozy. And here it is, the finished fishing hut. It's small, simple, and functional. You've got everything that you need: crafting, storage, and a super cute place to fish. Next up, we have this super easy hillside starter base. This is the perfect base if you want to live inside of a mountain. Not only does it look cool, but it's also a great way to stay safe from mobs early on. Before we can start, let me tell you guys what you'll need for this build. You'll need planks, slabs, logs, trapdoors, and glass. First, find a nice cliffside. Try to pick a spot not too high up so you don't have to struggle every time that you go in. Now add a little staircase that you're going to use to go up to the platform that we're building. Next, build a small platform that you're going to use to build our house on top of. You can build up the logs 3 blocks high and then fill in the rest of the frame with blocks of your choice. I chose birch, but if I'm looking back at it, I kind of wish I used another log, so maybe try oak or spruce. Then you're gonna make a sloped roof out of slabs. I tried to make it slope right into the mountain, so try to create the same effect. Then extend the platform so that you can add trapdoors around the edge, kind of working as a little fence. Maybe use a better method than I did though, because this just looks really goofy. Then I added a little window and a rose bush to make it a little bit more cozy. Moving on to the inside, I'm just carving out this little space in the mountain. I decided to keep the walls as stone to keep it still feeling like the inside of a mountain. And then I just filled in the floor and roof, of course. But before we can start decorating, let me tell you guys what you'll need. A crafting table, a furnace, a chest, a staircase, a flower pot, a flower, beds, and of course a cake. If you want, you can also add flowers, paintings, item frames. I think a rug would look so cute, and then also like a little area for a pet. But of course, this is just a survival starter base, so I tried to keep it as simple as possible for the video. Moving underneath the platform, I actually made a little storage area to take advantage of the space. And I just added a little rug, chests, and a little frame around the chests as well. This would be so convenient as a starter base because you have a storage area, a cozy little house, and plenty of access to animals and safety from mobs. So this is the final starter base. Let me know what you guys think in the comments and if you try any of these out. Anyways, I'll see you guys all next time. Bye!